Giant Cakesicle.
Yep, a bicycle cake.
Oh yeah, this is amazing. Welcome back to How to Cake It. I'm Yolanda, and this week I am making a giant Cakesicle.
I'm gonna call it a Cakesicle cake.
Well, I was even gonna say this week I'm gonna cake a giant Cakesicle, and I felt that was too much cake. To make this cake, I baked 24 pounds of my ultimate vanilla cake, and I dyed it coral. I'm baking 4 rectangular cakes, 2 a little larger and 2 a little smaller. I'm going to remove the caramelization from the sides using my serrated knife and just cutting off the side until all the darkness is gone.
And the darkness is gone.
The darkness. You can keep the dark parts. That's
dark
probably your favorite part, right? Now I'd like to cut all 4 of my cakes into 2 layers. Again, I use a ruler, a serrated knife. It's always trickier cutting rectangular cakes in layers than it is round cakes. Round cakes are round, so spinning them on the Lazy Susan is natural.
Yeah.
When they're square, I gotta invent a square Lazy Susan.
Will it be dysfunctional Susan? Like what would we call it?
It's Lazy Suzanne. Sir Squeeze is coming into the kitchen. Well, he lives in here. Sir Squeeze is waking up to help me simple syrup all 8 layers of my coral cake. Now it's time to fill and stack these cakes with Italian meringue buttercream. I need to line up my cakes side by side. So I'm taking one of the smaller rectangular layers, putting it on a board, and then one of the larger ones, putting it on a board, just lined up together. Do you understand?
No. What did you do?
Remember I made smaller rectangles and Cody is thoroughly enjoying this. I'm taking one of the smaller rectangular cakes and one of the larger, and I'm putting them side by side like this. You understand? On the board, okay?
And then it's gonna make the shape. We're gonna carve it so it makes the shape.
Have you watched a lot of cake videos? So I line them up and then I spread a nice layer of Italian meringue buttercream, and then again I put the next 2 layers of cake on, smaller and larger. Buttercream, smaller, larger. Buttercream, smaller, larger. Yes. Guys, I'm so excited. It's Yo-Yo Day tomorrow. In fact, I'm wondering if anyone is gonna make Cakesicles is the treat. An amazing selection of bakeries in Canada, the US, Australia, and the UK will be giving away a free sweet treat to the first 50 people who walk in and say, "Happy Yo-Yo Day!" I hit the oven. Did you hear it?
Yeah.
They're all listed here, and they'll be waiting for you to free the sweet. Also, when you pick up your free sweet, you'll have the chance to win an amazing How to Cake It prize pack worth over $700. Check out all the details in the description below. And now I'm going to chill my cake to help that buttercream set up before I carve. Let me tell you something. The board I put this cake on, I had to tilt the cake slightly, which wasn't scary. I even made a note, chill, really heavy. It's time to shape my Cakesicle, and essentially what I want to do is round the 2 top corners and the 2 bottom corners. I want it to be the shape of think of like a chocolate dipped ice cream bar. Next week is Father's Day, and I am I'm caking up something special, a giant piece of lasagna. So if you don't want to miss it, make sure to subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell. And once I'm happy with that shape, the next thing I do is use the smaller serrated knife to round down the top edges and also cut away some cake from the bottom so it appears rounded. I love straight edges, but Cakesicles don't have them. It's time to crumb coat and chill this entire Cakesicle and lift it into the fridge, which was a lot of work. I feel like I should have like a crumb coat and chill scepter. It could be a scepter and the top is like a golden bowl with buttercream. And then there's like a little golden spatula in it. We could totally make that. Right?
I can imagine.
Oh my God, I want this for real.
Yeah,
I want this for my birthday. Okay, now that we went off on a full tangent, I'm back and my crumb coat is chilled. So it's time to ice and chill this cake. There's a lot of requests from you guys that you like our How to Cake It block tees. It's been a while since we had a How to Cake It t-shirt. Somebody wore that to SoFlo and I was like, oh my goodness! And now you can find this one at howtocakeit.com, but hurry up if you like it because it's a limited edition. See, a scepter would have been perfect right now because I would have been like, it is limited edition. Click the eye. And I could point at the eye with my scepter. Before I cover this cake in fondant, I need to add the stick. So Cakesicles come on a stick just like popsicles. But because the cake is applied to a stick and then dipped, the stick tends to get a bit of chocolate on it, and I want to pay attention to that detail even though this is a giant cake. I've decided to cover my Cakesicle in 3 different colors. The first color I'm using is teal because it's so How to Cake It. And then roll out my teal fondant and smooth it over the bottom 2/3 of the cake, also covering a little bit of the stick. Basically, I want to cover the bottom 2/3 of my Cakesicle with teal. Now I want to smooth the fondant up against the cake and taking great care to sort of wrap it around the top of the stick that I inserted. You know how popsicle sticks are rounded at the end? So I didn't have time to do that yet. So I want to remove my stick, but I need to replace it with something so that that fondant doesn't droop. And I want to cut away all the excess fondant around the bottom of the cake. I want this Cakesicle to look as if it's been dipped 3 times. Like first it was dipped in teal chocolate, then it was dipped in purple chocolate, and then it was dipped in white. And when you dip something and you turn it back right side up, the chocolate drips down. So I want to cut my teal fondant with like a drippy pattern. Okay? So exciting. You can use the tip of a sharp paring knife, you can use an X-Acto knife. I just want to freehand cut this drippy pattern. At first I like to score the fondant so I can see the pattern, have a look, and then I take the plunge and cut all the way through the fondant.
Cake of cakes.
Did I do that on Cake of? Oh yeah, I did! Wow, that feels like years ago. It was years ago. If the fondant that I peeled away peeled some buttercream with it, I take this time to use a small spatula and patch the buttercream. And now I can chill the cake. The very heavy cake. The next color I'm adding to this giant Cakesicle is purple. So what I want to do is roll the purple wide enough to go across the whole width of the cake. Now I need to try and recreate that drippy pattern that's at the top of the teal fondant. So what I do, same sort of technique. I can see where the teal fondant is underneath. So I take my knife and I follow those lines very carefully, cut through the fondant, and then I smooth the fondant over the drip. The problem is, I got really upset when I was doing this.
Oh no.
I got upset because if you think about it, a Cakesicle would be dipped 3 times. It would be dipped entirely in teal, dry, then purple, dry, then white. But I didn't want to do that with fondant because then the top of the cake would have had 3 layers of fondant, which I find excessive, which is why I chose to do it this way. But this way is really difficult because you still want it to appear like the purple dripped over the teal. Do you understand? You don't want it to sink in.
Yeah.
And I don't want a seam. You know how we made the seam hider? Truthfully, I'm the seam avoider. I avoid seams. They only come into play when I can't avoid them. Then I hide them. But before I move on to white fondant, I have to cut the drip pattern out of the top of the purple fondant, right? So I cut my drip pattern, I repair the buttercream, chill the cake, and now it's time to roll white fondant. I roll my fondant, drape it across the top of my cake, smooth it all the way around, and cut away the excess from the bottom. And now the trick is that when I cut my drip pattern to meet the purple drip, I'm actually going to hold my knife on a bit of an angle. And this is useful because it's like there was more fondant, there was more excess fondant. So when I smoothed it, I was sure that it would meet up and go over the purple fondant. And that's so much better. Okay, it's time to add sprinkles to this Cakesicle. I need to jazz it up. I'm adding this month's Sprinkle Service sprinkles to this giant Cakesicle, and I've decided to just glue them along the sort of bottom drippy edge of my white fondant. I'm going to brush on a little bit of clear piping gel. This will be the glue. I love these sprinkles so much, and they're called mermazing because they are. The sprinkle service is on sale right now at howtocakeit.com, so you can join, and I will be using these sprinkles on another highly requested cake in June as well. I wonder what it could be. I mean, they're pretty mermazing.
I caked this Cakesicle cake by using this one's sprinkle service sprinkle.
Okay.
It's not that hard.
I caked this Cakesicle, whoa. I caked this Cakesicle cake using this month's sprinkle service sprinkles. I caked this Cakesicle's I caked this month's, no, now I'm just. This month's Cakesicle cake. You know what this Cakesicle needs? A face.
Does it? Does it need a face?
It doesn't. I just thought a face would be really cute. To make the face, I rolled out a little bit of black fondant and some coral fondant that is similar to the color of the cake. See what I did there? And then from that fondant, I cut out 2 eyes with a circle cutter, 2 cheeks from the coral with a larger circle cutter, and then a mouth. If you want to take your fondant skills to the next level, our fondant tools and circle cutters are on sale at howtocakeit.com this week only. Click the eye. I used my template and a straight pin to mark where the facial features are going to go on this giant Cakesicle. Now I just need to apply a little bit of clear piping gel to the back of each of my facial features and apply them where I've made the marks. Look how happy she is.
Oh, it's a girl.
Yeah, I think it's a girl. If you guys like Cakesicles as much as I do and want a giant one, share this video. I know what you're thinking. This Cakesicle needs a stick. And you're right. You can't pick it up with this little foam board. Gently pull out the board and then gently insert your giant popsicle stick. Do you guys think that Cakesicles are taking over from cake pops? This is controversial. I love this. What do you prefer, Cakesicles or cake pops? Leave a hashtag below. I can't pick this giant Cakesicle up and take a bite, but that's not gonna stop me. In the meantime, you can check out my step-by-step donut tutorial and my dripping in caramel compilation, girl. I dare you to not drool, girl. You know you want some caramel. I dare you. I'll see you next week.